You're still watching the Daytime Update. Now, with the appointment of the new Nelson Mandela Bay Collective Executive, government still pending, residents are left in the lurch as their service delivery needs are not being met. Our reporter, Siphosethu Booi, joins us now. Siphosethu, good afternoon. What are some of those needs that are not being met as far as the residents are concerned?
Well, Hugo, we went to Edongweni, an informal settlement rather here in KwaZulu, Nelson Mandela Bay, and this is a community that was, of course, negatively affected by the heavy rains and floods that happened over the weekend. And we spoke, of course, to the residents who were waiting for food parcels that were going to be distributed from the social development officers. And, of course, they said that they have been assigned or asked rather to go there by the award councillor Kamelihle Maqula, who's going to be speaking to us with regards to the plans they have in place, of course, as far as, of course, trying to meet those residents of Edongweni halfway after those devastating floods left many of them with their furnitures, mattresses and food just literally just being spoiled by the water. And, of course, one resident just drew such a gruesome and sad picture of how she was woken up by the water, and she literally had to throw her twins to neighbors as she was met, or was rather engulfed by many waters that were just extremely hard and difficult for her to catch her breath. And that's just how hectic and just how sad that situation was over the weekend of these floods. But Kamelihle Maqula, the councillor of Ward 19, Hugo, joins us now to just give us a bit of a picture in terms of what plans, of course, they have in place as, of course, the municipality is concerned to try and meet these residents of Ndlovini, or rather Edongweni halfway. Councillor Maqula, thank you again for your time. When this happened, I believe you were, of course, out of the city at the conference. You're coming back to a situation where many of the residents of Edongweni left in limbo with regards to how they are going to move forward with regards to the festive season. Christmas is around the corner, but they literally have nothing. Any plans in place to try and meet these residents halfway?
The residents, as you have mentioned, they are in SASSA offices as we speak to complete the application forms for that particular relief. So there are plans to meet them halfway on this particular issue. Yeah, they will get assistance.
And with many of them also just mentioning the fact that one adult, Umama Payana, who was 69 years old, had mentioned that she has been on the waiting list to receive a house for many decades now. She has over 20 years living at Edongweni. With such issues, how can, of course, residents apply for housing? And are there any ways to try and put pressure with regards to issues of that nature with residents who are still awaiting houses? And if there's any communication from the municipality side, rather, to the residents with regards to these issues, because the situation at Edongweni is quite sad.
Look, Edongweni is a very old informal settlement. It was established in 1989. We have reports previously that area is a floodplain, and therefore there can be no development in terms of houses in that area. So when I came in 2016, we came up with another report that will actually give them about 60 units of houses. That layout plan is now in place. It has been approved by council. That project now is now under that ISOPG grant. So we're expecting a tune of about 10 million rand next year, February, on the adjustment budget to actually fill up that site and reposition those shacks into their own sites. So, and then we install services, underground services such as water and sanitation and so on.
With regards to the issue of council, you just mentioned now, drifts the entire conversation to the issue of the mayoral committee that has now been disbanded in Nelson Mandela Bay. Will this not now halt service delivery to the residents of Nelson Mandela Bay, knowing that there will only be new appointments to this new system only in January 4th? And how long do you maybe predict this will take in order for service delivery to be rendered to the residents of Nelson Mandela Bay? Because there are many issues that need to be given attention.
Yeah, look, mayoral committee is there to play oversight role. Administration is there. They will make sure that everything that council has approved previously is actually being implemented. We are here as ward councillors. We are not affected on this thing of Section 12. We will continue with our work. So I do not foresee anything that will make us not to continue with our work. But the mayoral committee, of course, is disbanded, but administration is there. They will actually go on with the implementation. Thank you.
Councillor Maqula Hugo, just telling us more about the measures and, of course, implementation plans they have in place with regards to how they will, of course, make sure that the residents of Edongweni are attended to with many of the issues that they outlined to us. Also, just the issue of food and safety was one critical point that they spoke highly of, that they really needed attention with regards to assistance in that regard. And the issue of course, the Section 12 amendment that are set to take place immediately, with immediate effect, rather, here in Nelson Mandela Bay, because currently the Nelson Mandela Bay area now has no mayor, and of course now this then means that the newly appointed team will only be appointed at the first council meeting that is set to take place on the 4th of January. Otherwise, for the residents of Nelson Mandela Bay, Mayor, of course, rather Councillor Maqula had assured them that administrative-wise, everything will go as planned, as of course the wards are not affected by any of the changes that are now being implemented in Nelson Mandela Bay. Hugo.
That's our reporter Siphosethu Booi coming to us from Nelson Mandela Bay.